we're just at Atlas Aquariums, and we've got Finn and Wilson in the red shirt hiding over there. There he is.
He's always hiding. My mic's
And then we've got Marina as well, who's going to help us do a little bit of filming. And we're going to check out some of the Tanganyikan Cichlids that they've got here at Atlas, since I'm going to be setting up a Tanganyikan display very soon. Finn is a little bit of an expert in Tanganyikan Cichlids.
I'm really not.
Well, he did keep...
You're being modest.
He did say that it was the only tank that he kept at home for a while, so...
Yeah.
Like a whole year.
Yeah, so you know a little bit about them.
A little bit.
Okay, well, I'll hand it to Marina, so you can... There's Wilson again.
Obviously for emotional today.
So you guys put all of your fish into continents, you were saying, as well.
Yeah.
So over there you've got Asian stuff, is that
goldfish.
right? Goldfish.
Goldfish
Okay.
is sort of
What
separate.
continent are goldfish from?
Goldfish are Asian.
Yeah.
They're from China and Russia.
I love this tank here as well. This one's really cool with the eels and the really cool honey eels. Is that what they're called? I might have just made that up.
Golden fire eels.
Golden fire eels. Never mind. Honey
I mean, they
eels
look like
sounds
honey.
pretty
Honey
nice.
sounds nice. Honey could be a good sales gimmick.
And then we've got the main area that we want to look at here, which is the African cichlids, or the African fish. So you guys have some like Congo fish up here.
Yeah,
like
the top's a
African
little
river
bit
tank.
mixed. So you got like riverine Africans, like your jewel cichlids, humphead cichlids. You got Congo tetras, gold Congo tetras, a little bit of Tanganyikan stuff. The middle is all Tanganyikan, or I think 99%. Some of the catfish are not all Tanganyikan, but they're all Synodontus, so they're all African species. And then the bottom row is sort of Malawi, and I think there's the odd Lake Victorian in there. But we keep them at the bottom. They're the brightest. They catch your eye the easiest.
Yeah.
When we had the Tanganyikans down the bottom, people just didn't look at them as much. So
That makes sense.
swapping them over really worked, and we're selling a lot more Tanganyikans now, definitely.
And granted, these are pretty bright Tanganyikan ones though that you've got too, like the Leilupi. They're the ones that I really want to get for my tank when I set it up.
Yeah, they look really cool. They can be very aggressive. They're a rock dweller.
Yeah. Yes, and so that's what I wanted to ask you about. Like, for setting up a Tanganyikan tank, with my Lake Malawi Cichlids, I really love that they're all mixed. So I like having all of the different colours and everything. And so with a Tanganyikan tank, I've heard that it's a little bit different, that you can't tend to mix them as readily as the Malawi Cichlids.
Not as easily, I would say.
Yeah.
It can be done. My tank was a bit of a mix, but things definitely disappear every now and then, especially if you have larger species with smaller. I had Neolamprologus multifasciatus, which are your multi-shell dweller, in my community, which sort of worked, and they did breed. They live in shells, so they can hide very easily. They did breed a little bit, but not many of the fry survived to adulthood. I did have a big frontosa in my tank, which probably cleaned up a lot of them.
Frontosa are quite popular, but they don't appeal to me all that much. I don't know why.
They remind you of a convict.
Yeah, they remind me a little bit of a convict cichlid, but
Convicts, underrated fish.
I can see how they're nice. So when they get really big and everything, you can have them in a colony, but also you don't normally see them mixed.
The blue does go like much more blue as well.
Yes.
Like it, especially when you've got one of them in the whole tank. Like when we had the one in our Tanganyikan tank,
Yes.
it stood out so much, and it actually was kind of cool to see like a larger fish come up the front every now and then.
Yeah, they're one of the larger growing Tanganyikans too, or one of the larger growing species that we can get in Australia.
Or there is one that I really like, and it's got spots instead of the stripes. It's a nice species.
Yeah.
So I've got a friend, one of the people who subscribes to my channel that I talk to sometimes, he's got them with like Anubias and stuff, and it looks really nice. So if I was to get frontosa, I'd go for the spotty ones.
They're an acquired taste.
Yeah.
I still personally would not do a full frontosa tank.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But I think they have their place in a community tank.
And so is this the whole selection of Tanganyikans that you've got here?
That is pretty much all of the
Okay,
Tanganyikans.
because that's the problem, you don't see as many of them around in pet stores either, which makes it a little bit
I
harder.
think it's not so much that they're not available, it's more so that they're not a huge seller. In comparison to Malawi's, the colour is very muted, and they just don't have the same sort of wow factor that a Malawi has. But I think when you get to know them and you get to understand their habits, they're, I would say, more interesting than a Malawi. They colony breed, they have family groups, they're very social with each other. Not saying that Malawis are not like that, but Malawis are just chase.
Yes, they're all over the place, aren't they?
That's sort of pretty much most of what they do. Whereas seeing interactions between different Tanganyikans can be really interesting.
Is there anything to do with importing them that makes them harder to get, or like
a lot of
catching them?
species are imported, and they are able to be imported, but not all of them. So a lot of them that are here, they get a little bit sparse, and then someone will have a spawn of 500 of them, and then all of a sudden they're available again when they haven't been for years. So there's a lot of like dedicated Tanganyikan keepers that have huge collections of probably hundreds of species, and I guess that's the stronghold for a lot of species to survive in Australia.
Right, interesting. What do we have here? So if we start up here, these are the ones that you said are Tanganyikans?
These are called Walteri. This is the adult pair in here. They're not the most beautiful in colour, but they have a really interesting temperament. They are sort of a big, aggressive Tanganyikan. They've got really sharp teeth. They would sort of be the king of your tank.
Do they get much bigger than that?
No, it's about adult size.
Okay, it looks like they've been breeding a lot as well.
Yeah, they're actually my fish that I had in my tank. And they bred multiple generations in my tank, which is these fry in here.
Right.
And then in the shop, they have also bred, so they're sitting on babies. But yeah, interesting fish. I would say similar sort of temperament to a lay loopy, but just a bigger fish, so they can hold their own a little bit better.
Are they also called fairy cichlids? Is that?
No, fairy cichlid.
Oh, they're completely different.
Fairy cichlids are brashadi. The sort of grey one in there with the little sort of ear colour on it.
But they've got the long fins too.
Yeah, they do.
So they look a bit similar.
They're a very similar shape, slightly different colour, slightly different head shape, and there's also some albino brashadi in there as well.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, they breed like crazy. They're the convicts of the Tanganyikan world. You've got in here, you've got Cordopunctatus, which are the yellow-finned ones. I haven't ever kept them myself, but they seem like quite a fairly docile Tanganyikan. I wouldn't keep them in with anything too aggressive. But they're in with Cylindricus, and Cylindricus are these long striped ones. They're basically a lay loopy, but stripes rather than yellow. And then in here, there's a little bit of a mix. You've got Similis, which are another shell dweller. They're very similar to Maltese, but the way we sort of explain to people to differentiate them is they have the stripes all the way down to their nose, whereas in the Maltese, it sort of stops at their head. They're also like a slightly darker colour, and as they get bigger, they're a deeper colour with like gold barring. They're really pretty.
Yeah, they do look very similar.
Yeah. Then you got your lay loopy.
Yeah, I love AB's ones. He's got the purple ones. Have you ever seen those before?
I've seen pictures of them. I haven't actually seen them in person.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah. I think you can also get a blue variety, but I have not seen
that would
those
be cool.
either. And then you can get your German oranges, which are like a solid orange colour. But yeah, in here, you've got another one that looks like a fairy cichlid. That's called a Helianthus.
Oh, it's a different one again.
Yeah, they're yellow.
Wow. As well.
Yeah. So essentially, if you look at them, they're basically the same fish, but that's yellow, that's grey. That's sort of the only way to tell. All of your Tanganyikans have evolved from the same species, so they are very closely related. I believe most of them can hybridize as well, which works if they have a similar way of breeding. But I think being a fish that you can't get that easily in Australia, it's definitely not a good idea to be hybridizing them.
Yes, and then this long guy at the back as well.
Yeah, that's a Julidachromis.
A Julidachromis, okay.
I believe that's Julidachromis regani. There is also a lot of different species of Julies, and they come in your striped, you get sort of vertical bars, you can get spots, there's heaps and heaps of different types. And then you've got your catfish for like your scavengers, your bottom dwellers.
I love these catfish, they're really, really cool.
Yeah, those are your gold Negrita catfish.
Yeah,
they're beautiful.
And they go crazy when feeding as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hoover up. I don't think they are Tanganyikan. I think they're possibly like a riverine Synodontis.
I think you might be right, because I think I looked them up for my Malawi tank and then they weren't endemic to the lake.
Most Synodontis are very tough and they can handle a wide range of parameters.
Yeah, they're like the bristle nose of Africa.
Pretty much. And then you've got your featherfin Synodontis.
Oh yeah.
They're Synodontis eupterus. And then Petricola, which we have, there's some gold Petricolas in here. There's some hybrid Synodontis in there. There's some multipunctatus, and some normal petricolas.
What ones would you be able to put in a mixed tank? My tank being 6 foot long, so
It's a big
quite
tank.
big.
It's a big tank. I mean, realistically, you could probably mix most of these species if you put them in the right way.
Okay.
That might be a controversial thing to say, but I really think that given their own space, they can all sort of live together. They're territorial.
The alarm going off.
Just Wilson got went out to the marine area. The alarm comes on at about 8:30.
They're territorial, but they will sort of stick to their territory. So provided they have found their own territories, and adding fish to a already establishing aquarium can be difficult. Same as with Malawis. I know you probably have found adding them sometimes doesn't work too well. Tanganyikans are similar, but honestly, I think most of what we have you could mix.
Okay, right. The only other question I wanted to ask you as well is, so with the Lake Malawi Cichlids, with the Mbuna, there's a bit of a difference. Like they need to have more fibre in their diet compared to some of the other ones like haps and peacocks.
Yeah.
What are your Tanganyikans like in terms of diet?
I think Malawis traditionally eat a lot more vegetable matter. Tanganyikans are a little bit more carnivorous.
Oh,
I think
interesting.
They chase out like invertebrates, and they all really love a bit of blackworm, but we just feed them protein pellet. Even our Malawis, we feed a protein pellet as a base diet, but we give them a little bit more vegetable matter as well. But Tanganyikans are very easy to feed. I think if you're feeding them anything with a little bit of protein, like a hikari food or kaiju, shout out our own brand. It's a fantastic food for them. And you won't, I mean, you can feed them anything. You can feed them flake if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Okay.
They will be easy to keep.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for giving us a little bit of an introduction to all of our Tanganyikan Cichlids here.
No problem.
So I'm planning to set up my tank probably around the end of the year once I get back from America. So probably like August, September, October kind of thing. So I'll definitely be coming back here.
Give us a list of what you're after.
Yeah. Who knows, maybe you'll order some more different types in and stuff and we can get some really cool ones.
For sure.
But at the moment I'm thinking I definitely want some bright colours, kind of like my Lake Malawi tank, and definitely want to mix it as well. So that's
The best part is having all the different ones for sure. Like because it makes such a busy tank. Like I always loved going outside with Finn after dinner and just like watching all of them live their best life. Like it's so nice.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. But yeah, I think it's going to look really good, and it'll be cool being able to use some of the tips that Jason taught me for stacking rocks and stuff, and be able to do like a really nice natural looking scape as well with the peninsula tank for them. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Sweet.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for filming, Marina. That was very, very helpful. Yes, and so if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like. Let us know what you think in the comments down below, and if you're excited for the Tanganyikan setup, and any tips or advice or species that you recommend as well would be really helpful to have. And if you're enjoying my content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel too. You can hit that little bell notification to get notified each time I upload a new video too. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Frontosa. These are
these guys.
Sorry, I screwed the camera. I'm so sorry. It just went like up.
Yeah, as I said, I would love to have more Tanganyikans in the shop. I'm a big fan of them, but
Yeah.
I didn't do anything this time.
Oh, hang on.
Excuse me.
I don't know how that happened. Hang on.
Do you want to take?
Hang on.
Oh my goodness.
It should be fine. Hang on if I go.
did you order the pizza?
Yeah.
All right.